The novella The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway is one of the most powerful stories ever written about perseverance, dignity, and the quiet struggle between humans and nature. It's a simple story on the surface. An old fisherman goes out to sea to catch a fish. But beneath that simplicity lies a profound meditation on determination, pride, and what it truly means to fight, even when the odds are against you. The Unlucky Fisherman. The story follows an aging Cuban fisherman named Santiago. For 84 days, Santiago has not caught a single fish. In the fishing community, this is considered terrible luck. At first, a young boy named Marlin had been fishing with him. The boy deeply respects Santiago and has learned everything about fishing from him. But because of the old man's bad luck, the boy's parents force him to join another, more successful boat. Still, the boy continues to care for Santiago. He helps him carry his fishing gear and listens to his stories. Their friendship is warm and genuine. And despite the long streak of failure, Santiago refuses to give up. The journey far into the sea. On the 85th day, Santiago decides to sail farther into the ocean than any fisherman usually goes. He believes that somewhere out there, his luck will finally change. Alone in his small boat, he rows far into the deep waters of the Gulf Stream. Then something incredible happens. One of his fishing lines begins to move. A massive marlin has taken the bait. But this is no ordinary fish. It is enormous, larger than anything Santiago has ever seen. And instead of pulling the fish toward the boat, the marlin begins pulling the boat out into the open sea. The Great Battle. What follows is an exhausting battle between man and nature that lasts for 3 days and nights. The fish is incredibly strong. It swims deep beneath the water, dragging the small boat across the ocean. Santiago refuses to cut the line. Instead, he holds on, despite the pain cutting into his hands and the exhaustion building in his body. Throughout the struggle, Santiago speaks to the fish with respect. He calls it his brother. He admires its strength and beauty. But he knows that only one of them can survive. The battle becomes more than just a hunt. It becomes a test of endurance, pride, and human spirit. Victory at last. After days of struggle, Santiago finally manages to bring the marlin close enough to strike. With the last of his strength, he harpoons the fish. The giant marlin is finally his. It is the greatest catch of his entire life. But there is one problem. The fish is too large to fit inside the boat. So Santiago ties it to the side and begins sailing back toward shore. He dreams of the respect he will finally regain in the fishing village. But the ocean has one more challenge waiting. The sharks. As the boat moves through the water, the scent of blood from the marlin spreads through the sea. Soon, sharks begin to appear. One by one, they attack the enormous fish tied to the boat. Santiago fights them off using everything he has, his harpoon, a knife, even a broken oar. But the sharks keep coming. Each attack tears away more of the marlin's flesh. Santiago continues fighting, even when he knows the battle may be hopeless. By the time he finally reaches the shore, almost nothing remains of the fish except its skeleton. The return home. Exhausted and wounded, Santiago drags his boat back to the harbor and returns to his small hut. He collapses into bed and falls into a deep sleep. The next morning, the villagers gather around the boat. They see the enormous skeleton of the marlin still tied alongside it. Only then do they realize what the old man accomplished. The boy Marlin visits Santiago and promises to fish with him again. The old man may have lost the fish. But he did not lose his dignity. The meaning of the story. The Old Man and the Sea is not really about fishing. It's about resilience. Santiago represents the human spirit, the refusal to surrender even when life becomes difficult. One of the most famous lines in the story captures this idea perfectly. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. Santiago loses the physical reward of his victory. But his courage, determination, and respect for the struggle remain intact. And in the end, that is what truly matters. Final thoughts. Published in 1952, The Old Man and the Sea became one of Ernest Hemingway's most celebrated works. Its powerful message about perseverance helped earn Hemingway the Nobel Prize in Literature. The story reminds us that life often feels like a long battle against forces beyond our control. But what defines us is not whether we win or lose. It's whether we continue fighting with courage and dignity. Because sometimes, the greatest victories are not the ones we bring home, but the battles we refuse to abandon.